Welcome to Rick's Corner, brought to you by Old School Labs, the brand I trust and the only one I put my name to. Use my code drasin12 on the link below.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Okay, welcome to Rick's Corner. John Hart is here, Mr. America, and he just switched chairs on me because the sciatic nerve is hurting.
Yes.
And it's making me about 4 inches shorter than him, but I don't care. I got to be comfortable on my butt skis when I sit. So we decided to pick a couple of subjects today. One of them we were talking about was Jim Morris. Back in the day, how great he really was. The guy had an excellent body. He trained hard. He ate impeccably, and he was in shape.
Yeah. I when I first landed in California in '86, I worked out at World Gym at 2210 Main. 2210 Main.
2210 Main, yeah.
Yeah, in Santa Monica, and Jim was one of the first people that I met. And we haven't spoken about him since he passed, so
No.
it's pretty cool because I became good friends with him over the years. But initially, I just saw him, and huge, quiet. In the mid '80s, he was still huge,
Very soft-spoken.
quiet, trained hard, kept to himself, very strong. But the thing that was so cool about his bodybuilding was he was. And excuse the term, he was a feeler with the weights. He was just such a feeler.
I know exactly what you mean.
See what I mean?
Every rep counted.
Every rep when he trained, every rep counted.
Now, his competing weight was what, about 220?
Yes.
So one day he decides to come over here, and he's walking up my sidewalk and had this big shirt on, this like XXX. And I'm looking at him, I said, what happened? He says, well, I put some size on. I said, what do you weigh? He says, 260.
Wow.
That's the heaviest I've ever seen him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was really big, but he responded well. He would do things like take liver and hit it in a blender and drink it down for protein.
Now that had to be early on because I know that since I met him, he had become a vegan.
No, this is way back.
Right.
And I can't imagine why you could eat raw liver in a blender. I was living in Torrance working for Kellogg Cereal as a salesman. He came out and he was a fireman or a policeman in New York.
Right.
And he didn't like it because they wanted him to choke somebody out. He says, I just can't do that. I don't have the makeup to choke somebody.
Yeah, I could not see him doing that.
No. So he'd come over and he was training at Bill Pearl's, and I was at Bill Pearl's in Inglewood. And we go to dinner at this Swedish smorgasbord where you could get all you could eat, but you don't see anymore. And the chicken and the fish, and boy, he would eat and I would eat. And they had these custard squares that were so good. And I don't know what happened to that place. Anyway, I moved to Santa Monica and he moved to Pasadena and trained at Bill Pearl out there. And then he opened up his own gym in Beverly Hills.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Did you train over there too?
Mm-mm. No, he had, I think I told you, he came to me one day and he says, look, I got a piece of property and I want to open a gym in Beverly Hills, but I got to show that I have money in the bank. Could you loan me $2,500 for 2 weeks? I said, sure. So I gave it to him. And I didn't even think twice about it. I knew he'd pay me back, and he did. Yeah. And that gym became very successful. But I think it was 100% gay.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, I think it was, and it had that audience. So he had a good audience there that they all had money, they all liked him, and he knew how to run a business.
Yeah, absolutely. When I had met him, he was a judge I was in the California Gold Cup Novice and an NPC show, and I had won it, and he was one of the judges. So I had met him a few times at World Gym, but again, he was so quiet, kept to himself. And after the show, he offered to help me with my posing. And oh my goodness, I mean, the stuff.
He had it down because Bill Pearl showed him. Oh. Even a bicep pose, his thumb, he'd put his thumb inside of his hand.
Inside of his hand.
He says, you don't want the thumb to be a distraction up here if you're posing.
I'm the position of the toes, the leg, the foot.
Yeah.
I mean, he had it all down. And, we went one day at World Gym when it was on Broadway at that point. Mm-hmm. Right, the big Joe's big statuesque building right there, and he took we went on the upstairs area over there, and he's showing me some poses, and oh man, it was so wonderful. And then we went to lunch a couple times. I bought him lunch because it was just something I felt like I had to do. He was giving me all this information, and he talked to me about diet, he talked to me about training, and I mean the amount of information that he had, right?
He knew a lot.
Really did.
He knew a lot, and the posing Bill Pearl showed him, and Pearl's a good poser. If you look at Bill Pearl's poses, they're all like just everything's in the right place. And I was telling somebody yesterday, because we were talking at lunch about working out, I had a friend of mine I went to lunch with, and he brought a guy he's working with from India who's a bodybuilder in India, and he seems to know a lot about it as well. I said, you know, what they said, what about doing aerobics or, you know, to burn calories? And I said, posing will burn calories.
See, now that's an interesting thing you just said.
Yeah.
Okay, because I found the same thing that, you know, pre-contest, see, this is the big difference between, you know, the guys that never stepped on a stage or the guys that never prepared like they were getting on a stage versus the ones who did. Back in the day when you were training, you guys did a lot of posing in the gym, didn't you? Okay. The thing that I noticed was when you practice posing and you're lean, oh man, it changes the muscles. They get harder,
it's
separated.
Amazing. You guys might want to try this. If you're leaning down, not even for a contest, but just leaning down, practice posing every night about 10 or 15 minutes.
That's all it takes.
And you'll see your striations and your muscles come out like never before. I mean, it isolates everything.
Training in the gym doesn't do it.
No.
Diet doesn't do it.
No. You got
the combination.
Combination of it all.
That's it.
Posing is like doing isometrics or yoga.
Right.
You know, you take that pose and you hold it until your muscle cramps, and it just does this extra thing to your muscle.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jim, one of those times we were out, he was telling me how he believed that even training his biceps, he would sit there. He didn't use weights hardly at all anymore on his biceps, which are massive. And he said he would just turn his wrist like this, pose, flex as hard as he could, and he'd keep going until he was like literally vibrating and shaking. So he believed entirely in isometrics besides the posing. He was using it as a form of exercise for his muscles as he would be at home, even outside of the gym.
That makes sense.
It was very, very interesting. But you brought up Bill Pearl and being a great poser. I saw Bill Pearl, Chris Dickerson, and Jim Morris, which were all Bill Pearl.
They're all Bill Pearl.
The lineage, right?
Proteges.
Yes, yes. And I saw all three of them posing or teaching it. I didn't see Bill Pearl. I saw Chris Dickerson and Jim. Jim helped me. But Chris was the guest poser at my very first contest back in New York. I was in the Teenage Empire States. And I had placed in the top, 3 or 4, and I was excited because it was my first time ever out there. And they had Mr. Olympia. This was in 1984, so he had already won the Olympia in '82. And he stepped up there and did a guest posing. He's also, I think, he still lives in New York at the time. And when he came off the stage, he was getting dressed off the side, and then he comes on over and he says, myself and the other teenagers just got off the stage, and he goes, "I saw you out there. Very good. You could do very well on this down the line." And man, just hearing a positive word from somebody who I respected at the time, just made me go, "Wow, that's all right." It made me go up.
That was before all the tanning sprays too.
Oh yeah.
Everybody just got their sun outside on the beach and they had a much better look. These tanning sprays, and I know you've used them.
Oh yes.
You look like Orange Man.
Absolutely.
I just don't like it. The face with the white under the eyes and all that. But they would pose under the skylight of Bill Pearl's gym because that was the best place to pose. The light came down, just hit you just right. And both Bill and Jim and Chris all had skin that looked like silk under those lights.
Wow.
They knew that they had that silky look, and it was the diffused light that hit them that made them look so good.
Wow.
And Chris had a body, not like Bill, but you could see that he was his follower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And except the elbows, he had the knotty elbows.
Yeah, the knotty elbows, the torn bicep. Did he tear his pec too? I don't
know, but I think we've all had knotty elbows. I've had mine drained 3 times years ago full of rib. They just get like that from working your triceps. They get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I remember Jim. He when we were at World Gym, the final World Gym, right, the one that was on Washington.
Yes.
In
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey, and I was a trainer there in the last 10 years of World Gym existing. And back then, at the end, his protein source, he used to tell me, was he would go, now he's competing in the Masters Olympias, right? Which he looked great, again. And his protein source was peanuts. He'd get bags of peanuts from the guys sitting at the stoplights. He'd buy bags of peanuts. And that would be his protein source. And I always thought, man, I mean, that's so incomplete. Yeah, I just...
I don't think that would do it for me.
Nah, I wasn't sold.
I don't know how they come out either. It might constipate you, or who knows. It's like, I don't know.
He was eating a ton of them, and you know, for him, it seemed like, you know, he looked great, skin looked great, he was healthy, all of that. I mean, obviously, near the end, it was sad, you know, how it all ended, but, you know, basically, he was really eating that way. You know, he really believed it.
Well, he lived till 80. He had a place in Venice, and I told you about it. It was like a little hippie pad up one of the side streets where all those little houses are, and they had a mattress on the floor, and he's burning incense. He had an area out on the front yard on the side where he had a dog buried, and had a monument to the dog.
Right.
And he was living like a monk. You know, we go out there, this area where you could just basically do your Zen and stuff like that. And he just changed his life around, became a vegan. He still looked good as a vegan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
He sure did. He sure did.
And he said to somebody, he said, by the time I'm 80, he says, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to live anymore. I don't want to be here.
Really?
Yeah. He had a partner that died, and then they were going to evict him or raise his rent. He had no money. And rather than just go through it, he shot himself. That was it. And it's like Arnold said at the eulogy when we gave it, he says, if any of us would have known, we would have financially helped him out. But he never
would have asked.
Never complained, never asked for money. He just took his life, and it was really sad because I guess he didn't feel he had anything going for him, but he had everything going for him.
See, it's interesting because at this point I can look back, and I mentioned it in one of my own videos I spoke about Jim a while back, is that when we were out one time at lunch, he had spoken to me about doing something more than just bodybuilding. You know, like I was so into bodybuilding, right? And he used himself as the example. And I never extrapolated on this or brought this up to any degree, but he was saying to me, to not be like him. At that point in time, he was like 70 years old or so.
Yeah.
And he was training people. He was 68, 70.
Yeah.
Training people. He said he felt like he had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He was renting that apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was so adamant about, look, you have something, you have the ability to speak, use it properly.
Plus he was very lonely. He was alone all the time. He was just very lonely. He had nobody in his life, and it just was bothering him. He just felt he outlived himself, and there are people like that, but it's really too bad. Nothing we could have done. We tried, but
well, for sure, as you just stated, he had people around him that would have, if he reached out, that would have stepped up to help him, whether it was financially or just to be his friend. He had more friends than I think he believed.
Yeah,
how do you like that?
Everybody liked him. I don't know what happened to his gym though. He had a really successful gym in Beverly Hills, Jim Moore's gym, and it went for many, many years. And then I never heard about it again, so I don't know what happened to it. But I actually did his logo for him. For his shirts, but I lost touch, and then I didn't hear about the gym anymore.
What year did it end? Because I know that
I don't know.
In '86 he was at World Gym working out.
He started it in about mid-'70s, and maybe it went to mid-'80s.
Right. So it had to be just before I met him.
Yeah. He was in a great location on Santa Monica Boulevard, and near La Cienega. I mean, that's the mecca of the population there.
Now, do you know that Bill Pearl's original one off of Manchester, the sign is still there?
Is it?
It's something else now, but they left the sign.
That gym was so old school, and his brother Harry ran it. You remember Harry?
Well, he looked like him, I know that.
Harry looked like a Neanderthal man. He was bigger than Bill.
Yeah.
And they'd get in bar fights, and there was all kinds of problems, but a good guy. So the equipment was all built by them, and there was like wooden benches, and they had a wooden machine. You could sit down and do your tricep extensions on your knees. And I remember using that. I got a pump like never before. And they had some pretty strong guys working out there back in the days. Big guy. Not necessarily competitors, just big guys, strong guys.
Right. I've met, living out near Pasadena now in that area, I've met so many of the men who worked out at his place on Green Street when he moved out to Pasadena area.
Yeah.
So everybody from Doug Brignole to, you know, even a bunch of men that are in their 70s now and early 80s that they trained at Pearl's gym over there. And again, they speak about Bill. He's still alive, right? So
yeah, he's in Oregon. He's I don't think his health is exactly 100%, but he lives up in Oregon. I saw him a few years ago at a show. It was a trade show, and he's gotten older, but he was really nice. And he remembers everybody.
Right. Still getting up early in the morning and training?
I think so.
Right?
And so does that Giuliani. They get up like at 4 in the morning, go to the gym at 5. I don't know why you would want to go to the gym at 5 unless you had something to do all day.
Well, if you know Eddie, right?
Yeah.
he's going to find things to do all day.
Yeah, he's in the gym at 5 a.m. He's home by 6, and then what? Then what do you do?
Right.
I don't know. I can't do it.
No, man.
So while we're on the subject of gyms and YouTube channels, and how's your YouTube channel doing?
Oh, thank you for asking. It's, because of you guys, because of you, first of all, and you guys right there. We have similar following, similar subscribers.
Yeah.
This has been fantastic. I'm for the first time, I just started it, 9 months ago, really, and I'm about to break 1,000 this week.
Oh,
and,
good.
So it's doing well, and I give a lot of free information out, and I have a home gym, a 2-car garage that's filled with some good equipment. So I share as much as I can with the guys, and you guys are welcome to make comments on my stuff, and it's Mr. America Heart is the channel, 3 words. And spell it like
You
this.
said a couple of things I want to talk about.
Please, bring it on.
First of all, you said make comments.
Yes.
And it's free.
Yes.
And it's something that you and I both enjoy. I've been doing this 11 years. I enjoy this more than anything.
Well, you've been the example.
I've been putting information out, and it's valuable information, and people write to me with beautiful comments. I love all you guys. Just such nice comments from all of you. I'm going to come out with a book for training for a guy from 40 to 70, because they all have questions on how to train.
All right.
And the comments are good, but every once in a while on YouTube you get a comment that's not so good.
Of course.
And I don't understand that. I don't know that those particular people have nothing better to do with their lives or what, but they just throw daggers at you.
Sure.
First of all, they said, why do I have to sit through commercials on your YouTube channel? Well, part of this is how I make my income. At my age, it gives me some income, so why shouldn't I have commercials on there? Why shouldn't I sell products? And what better way is over the internet on YouTube? If you don't want to watch them, you can cut it off before they come on, but at least I got to put it out there and try.
Oh, yeah.
And not be criticized for making money because I found out how to do it. So I don't like those comments. I don't think they're appropriate, and I don't think anybody should be looking into my bank account or my life saying that you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. I'll do it the hell I want to do at my age, and if nobody likes it, get off my channel. That's how I look at it. It starts to sound like Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn. But I don't need that kind of stuff. And and you're getting it. And why are you complaining? Not you, but the people like that. When you're getting something for free, you have no room to complain.
No.
My last video was about 2.5 minutes long, and it wasn't meant to be a whole show. I was in Starbucks, and I told my friend, take my phone. I want to just say something about training and about diet, because I'm eating a cinnamon roll, and once a week I'll cheat on the meal. So I talked about cheating for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. One guy writes, I didn't tune that in to watch you eat a cinnamon roll. I said, well, that's so rude. I'm sharing with you what you can do once a week or maybe twice a week.
Right.
It's not meant to be a full-length feature. It's a quick tip of the week, 2-3 minutes. And yes, I put my ending on that I do for my show, which has commercials, and it's all part of it. Why not? Make it. You don't just throw something on there without a beginning, middle, and an ending.
Well, you've had great guests.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
You've had great guests.
But I just want people to know that this is what I do, and you can't please everybody, but I'm trying to give you good stuff to go by and good information and share my life with you that I've done because I've learned from experience of 50 years, 60 years of doing this stuff. So take it for what it's worth. It's not costing you a dime. And if you don't want to sit through the commercials in the end, then don't sit through them. It's just, you don't need to tell me that.
I watch his videos. I watch them all.
I have people that tell me they watch them over and over and over. I had a friend here from India. Yesterday I went to lunch with who watches it in India, and he says, I just watch them all day long. I've learned so much from you over the years. And that's what most of the comments are. How much you've helped my life. You changed my life. I thought I was going to kill myself, and now I listen to you. I'm on a diet. I'm training hard again. Well, we're all here to do something in life, and I think I've fulfilled a lot of things I needed to do, but I think one of the main things is to help other people and to motivate other people, and that's what I'm doing now. If I can offer what I have free of charge to help you guys and make you better people, this is what I want to do, because I love everybody.
No, I hear you. I'm using that. I'm using this as an example on my own, and I've been sowing seed of giving, just like you are. And as much as I can give, any comments, like I said, or suggested subject matter you'd like to see, they can hit it on my channel. You can, if you want to, hear us go back and forth about something when we're together on this channel. I'm happy to. That.
Let us know.
Yeah.
This is the fun part, what we're doing now. But when I go into edit and put it together with all the inserts of photos and the music and all that, that's even more fun.
Yeah.
Because that's your production. That's where you're composing your piece together, and you got one whole show.
For you, it's fun. For me, it's getting even more fun because I have that creative side. For some people, that's labor. You know, that's work for them because they don't see it that way.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man, it is. It's fun, isn't it?
Well, let me explain. What I do is I shoot the body of the interview here, okay? Then I go on to my final cut, and I already have a pre-made ending that I put together, and sometimes I change it around with advertisers. Depends on who's there. I put that in the end. I have a couple of 2 or 3 different openings. I put that in the beginning, and then I blend them together, and then I bring in inserts of the subject we're talking about, and I drop those along the interview. So now you have a complete show.
Yes.
You know, it just works good that way. So if you guys want to start a YouTube channel, do that. Take that little lesson there because it'll help you out. It's not difficult. Years ago, Kane Roberts, the guitar player from Alice Cooper, who was a bodybuilder, taught me how to use Adobe Photoshop and a few things. He says, take all your pictures that you want and put them in a folder on your desktop. This way you don't have to go searching all over your computer when you're ready to do something. That way you have it there. Well, it's the same thing in Final Cut. I have everything on my folders. I know exactly where they are, and then when I pull them out, I can put a show together in probably 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't have to delay it for days and try to figure it out.
Well, and it's very cool from my perspective to be able to network with you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Anything I can do to help, you know, like I just said, you guys have got suggestions, I'm in with him. Let us know.
Well, thank you for being here, John.
And it's my pleasure.
John Hart,
doing the show.
Mr. America, good guy, got a heart of gold.
Thank you.
And his YouTube channel is
Mr. America Hart, just like this, HEART.
And we'll see all of you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for liking my t-shirt.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code DRASIN12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com.
Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interest as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
It's Rick Drasin. He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.